sights and sounds of college football. South Bend, Indiana, where many of the game's greats made their mark and where the legends of the fall are honored at the College Football Hall of Fame.
Dear Grambling, we love thee, dear old Grambling.
55 years as head coach, 408 wins, 9 Black College national championships, 27 consecutive winning seasons, and now enshrinement.
I'm just proud that I was able to actually coach 56 years.
As a kid, Danny White dreamed about playing for the Sun Devils. As a man, he realized that dream with some advice from his Hall of Fame coach.
He looked at me and he said, look, you've got one thing to do tonight. You get the ball from the center and give it to one of 10 players without dropping it, and we're going to be okay.
Allegations of fixing games tarnished Wally Butt's coaching career, but the loyalty of his friends and players had finally provided the late coach this long overdue honor.
The way he loved the University of Georgia and the years he's given to the university, you would never think he'd go out and try to hurt Georgia in any way.
25 men with 25 different stories, all with one thing in common. Today, their legends become etched in stone. ESPN presents from the College Football Hall of Fame in South Bend, Indiana, the 1998 College Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival.
And welcome to downtown South Bend, the Century Center, amidst the whitewater of the St. Joseph's River just across the street from the Hall of Fame. Inside, a big night for the 25 new members, the class of 1998 at the College Football Hall of Fame. Hi again, Chris Fowler along with Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit. Traditional, we start our coverage of college football right here at the Hall of Fame. You're always excited about it.
Oh, I love this place, don't you? Oh, it's the best.
It is a big night. 25 new members of the Hall of Fame, 18 players and 7 coaches have one thing in common. Very few of them expected to ever get here in their wildest dreams. They will join guys like Bryant and Butkus and so many big names enshrined across the street at the Hall of Fame. Exhibits there remind us that these guys are students as well as athletes. On Saturday afternoon, all the greats remembered in busts in the Pantheon. The awards on display that are given to the best in college football, and even something very special belonging to Coach Rockne at one time, the classic coach's whistle. As we said, 18 former players, 7 former coaches will join the greats who are pictured on these walls. Everybody from guys who played at Notre Dame and Nebraska to Augustana and Linfield College, Lee.
I tell you one thing, I've been involved with college football for 45 years as a player, coaching, and television, and I can't think of a better honor than be elected into this Hall of Fame. They've got to be tremendously excited.
I only got 34 more years to go, and I can get you. The thing I like about this class is that all the divisions will be coming in together. They started this last year, and to think about that, in college football, we so often break down teams and levels. I think it's very smart of the Hall of Fame to invite all of these men in as one group. That's a great move.
Another smart thing, another great move to waive the rule requiring a 3-year wait after retirement. So Eddie Robinson will be here. He's been an exception to the rules without breaking the rules for almost 60 years. Let him in the hall right away. We'll hear from Eddie Robinson. We'll also hear from Danny White and the great story of the controversial coach Wally Butts at Georgia. But when we come back, the big guy from South Carolina, the 1980 Heisman Trophy winner George Rogers, now in the Hall of Fame. We come back to South Bend.
Who loves Team Cheerios? The Stingrays were stung by them. Down south, the Barracudas are chomping them down. The Sharks are in a frenzy for them. Teams all over gave Team Cheerios a tryout, and they loved it. Because it's 3 awesome O's teamed up and sweetened up with frosting and brown sugar for an amazing sweet crunch your team will love. Don't forget the mighty sand crabs. Yeah, they dug right in. Team Cheerios, the taste your team will love.
Why is America on America Online?
I love to get instant messages.
Email's great.
It's the internet and a whole lot more.
AOL now offers more benefits, and we've spent over $500 million to triple capacity.
There's no better way to keep in touch.
So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Partying earned Josh and Cooper straight F's. But at Daleman College, if their roommate dies, they get straight A's.
We've got 2 weeks to push them over the edge.
Nothing like a good game of chicken.
Dead man on campus.
What was they thinking listening to you?
Rated R. Friday, August 21st, everywhere.
So I thought we'd take the flags around a perimeter run, and then to add an extra bit of excitement, we would do a horizontal crosshatch.
What about a radial pattern?
It's the Isuzu Great Big Really Exciting Sales Event, where you can get a 1998 Isuzu Trooper for just $299 a month for 48 months with $593 due at lease signing after a $1,000 rebate.
I'll show you a radial pattern.
It's late in the fourth quarter. And the announcer can't see it. And the fans can't see it. But I can. I can see it in their eyes. They're getting tired.
Last year's College Football Hall of Fame class included the great Hugh Green from Pittsburgh, runner-up in the voting for the 1980 Heisman Trophy. The man who won the trophy that year, a good friend of Green's, George Rogers, goes into the Hall this year. Got a chance to watch those guys reenact one of their collisions at the line of scrimmage at a hospitality suite one time. It was good fun. Rogers, the big guy who always seems to be wearing the big smile. Brian Kenny looks back at a career at South Carolina that included 27 100-yard games, despite being the focal point of every opponent's game plan.
If anybody played the University of South Carolina, you knew we were going to run the ball. We didn't have no secret about that.
And Rogers' exploits were no secret to the rest of the nation. In Rogers' 4 years in South Carolina, he rewrote the Gamecock record book. His 5,204 career rushing yards is a Carolina record by over 2,000 yards. Rogers' career average of 110.7 rushing yards per game is also a Carolina record. Want another record? How about 27 games with over 100 yards on the ground? And his 1,894 yards rushing his senior year, yet another Gamecock record. Is there anything we're missing?
And in first place, George Rogers, the University of South Carolina. George, it's a pleasure to welcome you as the 1980 Heisman Trophy winner.
My offensive line always came up to me and asked me, what do we won or lost? How many yards did you get? You know, we're going to do better next week and stuff like that. And that's why I always felt like winning the Heisman Trophy was not only an award for me, but it also was an award for my teammates.
But it was Rogers who single-handedly brought the South Carolina program back to life. The Gamecocks' record in the 1970s before Rogers' arrival on campus, 38, 39, and 1. In his last 3 seasons, the team's record, a solid 21, 13, and 1, including bowl appearances in the final 2 years. Rogers' lasting legacy is the Heisman Trophy.
My college coach, Jim Carlin, called me, and we was all excited. And it was just a tremendous time for the whole University of South Carolina, my teammates and coaches. And it was a great experience for us.
Those highlights a few pounds ago for George. I know fellow Gamecocks and Hootie and the Blowfish really appreciate George wearing their swag every day of his life.
A little flavor when he was a player. Red towel, half jersey, both no-nos in today's world. George Rogers, though, is partially responsible for the evolution of college football. He was the first true big back, 6'2", 220 pounds, that had the speed of 4.5 40 to be a tailback. One of the first that is now common thing in college football.
Kirk, one of the things that impressed me about George Rogers is his persistence. George went back to the University of South Carolina to get his undergraduate degree 7 years after his last college football game. That is a great trait for me. And also, he's speaking throughout the country to high school players and coaches and everybody else about don't get into drugs and get an education. Good role model.
Still a big fixture on the campus down there in Columbia. He won the Heisman Trophy, but he did have to wait a year longer than his old buddy Hugh Green to get here to the College Football Hall of Fame.
You know, when you stand up here and you talk about how wonderful it is to get inducted, I like to say that when I first started playing football, I just went out for football because all my friends went out. And all of a sudden, I found myself in a real football game. And what happened was the quarterback got in the huddle, and he said, we're going to pitch the ball right to you. He broke the huddle, he got up under the center, he said, down, set, hut, and he pitched me the ball, and I seen all them guys coming toward me, I threw it right back to him. That just goes to show what kind of coaches have been real influential to me playing football. If it weren't for those coaches telling me what to do with that football, I'd have never known. I want to thank you guys for the Hall of Fame. It's been a blessing for me because all the things that I've been through in my life, it's just a blessing to be here amongst all the other guys. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Coming up, nearby Notre Dame sends another enshrinee to the Hall of Fame. Ken McAfee, the great tight end. Nebraska's Dave Remington, winner of the Lombardi Award and two-time winner of the Outland Trophy, is enshrined tonight. And the first ever enshrinee from the University of Arizona, the former great linebacker, Ricky Hundley, when we continue.
One question I get a lot is about this up here. Is it real? And looking at some of the old advertising, I can see why you'd wonder. Well, it's real. Just like when I say we carry suits by many of the same designers as department stores, but for 20 to 30% less. That's real too. As real as, well, you know what.
The Men's Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
1-800-776-SUIT.
The football action is beginning to heat up on cable TV Montgomery.
Boogie, baby.
NFL preseason, August 1st at 10:15 and August 13th and 20th at 8:15 on ESPN and cable TV Montgomery.
The kid from the sticks, 212th pick in the draft, beating the odds, Penetrator. There's some confusion on the call. The home plate ump confers with third base. That's it! It's all over! He's done it! Who can believe this impossible dream? His teammates are mauling him. It's complete madness!
We've met George Rogers, still to come Eddie Robinson and Danny Wyatt. But now look at the other inductees in the class of '98, guys who played 20 years apart like Alex Kroll and Ricky Hundley, but shared a passion for big hitting. A guy like Dave Remington, the first two-time winner of the Outland Trophy, and a guy who played lineman back in the SEC a half-century ago, practically the leather helmet days.
Ray Beck was one in a long line of great Georgia Tech linemen from the late 40s and early 50s. In fact, during his All-America senior season, Beck played on both the offensive and defensive lines. As the starting quarterback for Iowa in 1957 and 58, Randy Duncan guided the Hawkeyes to a 15-2-2 record. Duncan's senior year was his best, as he led the nation in passing yards, touchdown passes, and passing efficiency. A two-sport star at Texas A&M, Dave Elmendorf excelled at everything he did. A defensive back in football and an outfielder on the baseball team, Elmendorf was named All-America in both sports. Elmendorf's excellence carried over into the classroom, as he was named Academic All-America as well. As a three-year starter at Ole Miss, Charlie Flowers was rarely on the losing team. Rebels' record during Flowers' stay was 28-4-1, which included 3 bowl victories. In 1959, he made All-America and Academic All-America. As a 4-year letterman at Arizona, Ricky Hundley had 31 games with 10 or more tackles, totaling 560 for his career. Named the Pac-10 MVP his senior year, Hundley was also a 2-time All-America. For 18 years, Don James was Washington football. During those years, James led the Huskies to 6 Pac-10 titles and 4 Rose Bowl crowns, the last in his last year of coaching. James' record of 153, 57, and 2 is a Husky best. After a brief stay in the U.S. Army, Alex Kroll transferred from Yale to Rutgers. At Rutgers, Kroll led the Scarlet Knights to a 17-1 record in 2 seasons. In 1961, he was a consensus All-American. As a 3-time All-America, Ken McAfee was the prototypical tight end. He could block like a lineman and catch like a receiver. During his senior season, McAfee caught 54 passes for 797 yards on the way to finishing 3rd in the Heisman Trophy voting. In a career that was cut short by knee injury, Bob Riefschneider did what no other tackle or guard had ever done. He won the Maxwell Award as the nation's top player. Riefschneider would only play a total of 27 minutes his senior season. A 2-time Outland Trophy winner, Dave Remington was one of the best offensive linemen ever. A 3-time All-Conference player and a 2-time All-America, Remington finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy voting his senior year. Before Charles Woodson was even born, there was David Robinson. At Penn State, Robinson excelled on both sides of the ball. As a tight end, Robinson was a strong blocker with smooth hands. On defense, Robinson simply devastated opponents. Bowden Wyatt has accomplished what only 2 other men have been able to do. He's been elected to the College Football Hall of Fame as a player and a coach. Wyatt's coaching career included stops in Wyoming, Arkansas, and Tennessee, and his career record of 99, 56, and 4 reflects his winning ways.
Lee, you have a special affection for the coaches who get in the Hall of Fame, especially your buddy Don James.
You know, I coached against Don James 4 times in the early 70s while he was at Kent and Washington. I had great respect for him. Tremendous football coach, well-coached teams. But I remember one thing especially. He was the first college football coach that I ever saw emphasize his special teams. His teams were sensational in the kicking game. That's what he was famous for.
Great coach. How about Dave Remington of Nebraska, one of the many dominating offensive linemen at Nebraska, the tradition that continues. But he won plenty of individual awards, such as All-American honors, Butkus, Lombardis. The thing I respect most about Dave Remington is he got it done in the classroom. Twice named academic All-American. He received the National Football Foundation scholarship for his work on the football field, but most importantly, in the classroom.
Saw Dave Remington the other week. You know, and it's amazing to think of at the time, but he is now small. He'd be dwarfed by the Nebraska lineman these days. Congratulations to the entire class of 1998.
To me, being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame is my greatest moment in football thus far. I'm especially thrilled to be a member of this class of 1998, to go in with people such as legendary Coach Robinson. Coach Robinson has been a hero of mine. In fact, for years, I've told people that Coach Robinson is a relative of mine. He's not, he's not, of course, but just so Coach Robinson doesn't get a big head, I think he should know that I also told people I was related to Jackie Robinson and Sugar Ray Robinson.
The game of football has given me so much, the friends and teammates, the memories, and that's the thing I remember is relationships and some of the big games, but it's more the friendships that you develop along the way. It's given me a chance to get an undergraduate degree from the University of Nebraska and a graduate degree from the University of Wisconsin as a coach. It's taught me how to compete and how to win and lose with what I call a quiet confidence.
My brother Lamont, who's standing here also, if he would stand, he always accused me of being here because of him. And that may be true. Stay up. He said that they gave me credit for all his tackles, because he wore 98 and I wore 89, and they didn't know the difference. But he was truly an inspiration to me. He's been my best friend. We played side by side, and I think every award I've ever received, he's always been there for me. And I really appreciate it, and I thank you for it. And, you know, this award, I hope it means just as much to you as it does to me, because honest and truly, I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for the tackles.
Coming up, Danny White. Finally, there's a former Sun Devil player here in the Hall of Fame. And also the fierce defense of Wally Butts by his former players, once falsely accused of helping fix a game.
He was crushed, he really was, because it was just like he killed his wife or murdered somebody, because it was just such a preposterous thing in his mind.
Over 30 years ago in our laboratories, eye care was revolutionized with the introduction of Visine. Today, our latest advance, an even better Visine. Advanced Relief Visine. Its unique formula gets the red out, plus more. This computer image of an irritated eye simulates how Advanced Relief Visine spreads the cooling, soothing, refreshing relief of 3 moisturizers. Discover how good your eyes can feel with Advanced Relief Visine. It gets the irritation out.
Tony's original love, the Blimpie best. Ham, salami, capicola, prosciutini, provolone, choice toppings, all on freshly baked bread. Blimpie, it's a beautiful thing.
break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Accept it. The college football game you want to see isn't on where you live, and there's nothing you can do about it. Or is there? Imagine a place where the games you want to see are on every Saturday. A place where you can see up to 100 college matchups this season. Just order ESPN Game Plan, ESPN's pay-per-view college football package, and we'll bring you more of the best games from top schools and conferences. And all in your own backyard. ESPN Game Plan. To order, call DirecTV, Primestar, Dish Network, or your cable company.
His former quarterback, Fran Tarkenton, called Wallace Butts, quote, the Bill Walsh of his generation. Butts' innovations in the passing game helped Georgia to 4 SEC titles, including a perfect season in 1946. But unfortunately for many, Butts perhaps is best remembered for a controversial incident which occurred after his coaching career ended. An incident that for a long time threatened his enshrinement at the Hall of Fame.
He was 5 feet 6 inches tall, and most of his players thought they were looking up when they looked at him. He made things happen. He made the air sort of snap, crackle, and pop. He was probably the most exciting individual to be around that you could ever know. I was a daddy's girl, for sure.
He was tough enough to where a lot of time, you know, when you were actually playing for him, you thought, well, you know, I'm going to hate this guy, but you never did. When you got away and you look back and saw what he meant to you during your life there, then you had a strong loyalty and a strong feeling, and he had the same for you.
He meant so much to offensive football in the United States right before World War II and right after World War II. He really originated the forward passing game as you know it now. His forward passing game was a forerunner of what you see today.
He built a tradition at Georgia, and he took a program that was going nowheres and brought it up to national prominence. We all respected him, and we hated him on the football field, but we loved him off the football field. He was that type of a natured man.
Memories of Wally Butts stir the passions of his players, friends, and family. 37 seasons after coaching his final game, and nearly a quarter century following his death, Butts' enshrinement not only recognizes his contributions to the game, but vindicates his name.
I think if it hadn't been for the Saturday Evening Post publicity, that he would have gotten in there much earlier.
Butts' celebrated 22-year career as coach of the Bulldogs came to an abrupt end following the 1960 season. Powerful alumni who believe Butts' well-known off-the-field carousing hindered recruiting urged him to step down. Colleagues say Butts became embittered over his dismissal.
I think it's pretty obvious he wanted to see Georgia get beat so that Georgia would look bad, and they would come to him and say, Wally, oh boy, we got to have you back. That's exactly what he wanted.
In March of 1963, the Saturday Evening Post published The Story of a College Football Fix. The article claimed that George Burnett, an Atlanta insurance salesman, accidentally intercepted a telephone conversation between Butts, then Georgia's athletic director, and Alabama coach Bear Bryant. Burnett heard Bryant say, quote, "Hi, Wally, what do you have for me?" and then took notes of Butts' description of Georgia's players and formations. 9 days later, Alabama beat Georgia 35-0. Burnett did not turn over his notes until after the season, and at that time, the university and the state of Georgia began an investigation. The story appearing in the Post compared the incident to the Black Sox scandal of 1919.
People that knew Coach Butts, the way he loved the University of Georgia and the years he's given to the university, you would never think he'd go out and try to hurt Georgia in any way.
There wasn't anything said in that conversation that wasn't already public knowledge. Not only knowledge among the coaches, but it was public knowledge.
Bryant and Butts denied the accusations immediately, the Bear appearing on statewide television in Alabama to plead his case.
these charges are false in every sense of the word. I want to take this time to deny them with every force at my command. Never in my life have I attempted to rig or fix any ball game, either as a player or as a coach.
Meanwhile, Butts resigned as athletic director and suffered in solitude.
He did go into his shell for a while, yes. And it was so horrible. And there are many people who would tell you they never believed it, but, you know, they would sort of walk across the street when they would see us coming a little. I mean, they were embarrassed or they didn't know how to react.
He was crushed, he really was, because it was just like he'd committed and killed his wife or murdered somebody, because it was just such a preposterous thing in his mind.
Both Butts and Bryant sued the publishers of the Saturday Evening Post for libel. Bryant settled out of court, but only after Butts' dramatic and emotional trial.
I remember my heart breaking. I could almost tell you the sound of it and the feel of it. If you love somebody a lot and they're under attack, it's horribly painful.
Looking back, I know he really suffered emotionally and may well have died early because of that. That stress had to be excruciating for him.
The Post failed to prove the validity of the fixing allegation. No evidence linking Butts to gambling on the '62 Alabama-Georgia game surfaced. Butts won the case and originally was awarded more than $3 million. 4 years of appeals not only reduced Butts' settlement, but negated any hopes of his returning to coaching. Butts switched careers, becoming a success in the credit life insurance business.
The comeback that he made in life after he was finished with his coaching career shows the measure of the man. He was not only a great football coach, he was a great man. He was a great father, a great friend.
Wally Butts' players never abandoned the coach known as the Little Round Man. They insisted Butts be honored in 1972 during a ceremony marking the 30th anniversary of Butts' Rose Bowl champions. In 1996, calling themselves Wally's Boys, his players began to campaign for one final tribute to their coach.
There were hundreds of them, 200 or 300 signatures that came in from old players and letters.
All of his old football players, they were almost fanatical about getting him in the Hall of Fame because they thought he was one of the great football coaches in America.
They getting not only a great football coach, but they also getting a guy with great character and stood for all the right things when he was coaching and teaching young men his philosophy of the game and his philosophy of life.
To me, it's probably the greatest happening in my lifetime in athletics, really, because to me, I would rather him go in there before me, really, because I know he was deserving of the honor.
Wally Butts, unfortunately, enshrined posthumously, but it really is striking to see the fierce defense of Butts by his former players who wouldn't let this thing go. They felt he was wrong. They conducted an almost unprecedented petition to get him in there. This is decades after he coached him.
Well, Chris, he loved his players at Georgia, and he loved the University of Georgia. Wally coached there as the head football coach for 22 years, won over 60% of his games. But he coached some really terrific football players, like Frankie Sinkwich, Charlie Trippi, Johnny Rauch, Zeke Burkowski, Fran Tarkett. Now, I understand you're probably a little young to remember those guys, but let me tell you something, my friend. They could play.
I bet they could. Names like that, you have to be able to play the game. Wally Butts was not only an innovator with the passing game, he was also a disciplinarian. In fact, he had a way of reaching deep down and getting his players to work a little bit extra. They would go into football games expecting to win because they knew they had outworked their opponent. In college football, that is a big, big mental edge.
I'm sure you get Butts' former players. They could tell Wally Butts stories all night long, but this year, perhaps the final chapter in the legacy of Coach Butts.
We've been proud on the days when he rode off the field on the shoulders of his battling Bulldogs with those Georgia yells and chapel bells ringing out the victory. Proud even on the days when the scoreboard failed to register in our favor. Proud when he made witty after-dinner speeches. Proud when he fought back in life and restored his good name. And never prouder than at this moment. And this is just for my sisters. Isn't this just wonderful? Our grand little guy finally made it all the way to the top. Thank you.
Coming up, more of the coaches in the class of '98, including the great Eddie Robinson, just 1 year removed from Grambling, and a coach who led Augustana College at one time to a 60-game unbeaten streak. New Hall of Famer Bob Reed.
Sunny morning, fresh air is calling. I just love my street. The grass is dewy, the trees are bloomy. Just can't be beat. Hello, neighbor. Smiling faces, wonderful places, smiling faces.
If you have hard water and you're using this leading gold deodorant bar, your skin may not be as clean as you think. That's why you need Zest. See, these deodorant soaps combine with the minerals in hard water to leave a soap residue that can coat your skin. But Zest is made to capture those minerals and rinse them clean away. So skin is cleaner, more refreshed. Now that's zestfully clean.
Bad call. I know all about bad calls, Mike. Take the 1986 Academy Awards, for example. I was completely snubbed for Stand By Me. I mean, did you or did you not think that train was real?
I thought the train was real.
Exactly. Good acting. That's what that is.
For the second year now, the Hall recognizes contributions by former players and coaches in 1AA, Division II, Division III, and also NAIA. Jeff Bentram was a quarterback at North Dakota State, won 3 national championships, once broke a rushing record held by Walter Payton. Tom Deary at Widener, great defensive back and a kick returner, late 70s, early 80s. Kenneth Dement played almost every minute of every game from the 51 to 54 seasons, All-American. Larry Pugh, Westminster, the guard and the tackle. Richard Ritchie from Texas A&I, an academic All-American, an All-American quarterback in the middle 70s. Donnie Shell, the great career at South Carolina State in the NFL. Still a part of player development now with the Carolina Panthers in the National Football League. The coaches, Chuck Clausing, an incredible 46-year career in coaching at all levels. Ad Rutschman won a national championship in football and in baseball. Linfield College, and Bob Reed, Lee, not bad. 4 national championships, a coaching legend from Augustana.
You know, Bob Reed this year won the Stagg Award, which is given by the American Football Coaches Association to the person who's given most to college football over his career. It's a tremendous honor. Interesting note here. Bob Reed is the first college football coach of all those great coaches to win 100 games in his first 10 years as coaching.
Wow.
Yo.
That's not bad. You know, another player, Donnie Shell, is a guy that's probably known best for the 14 years he roamed in the secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he was also a standout at South Carolina State, a very versatile player. First 3 years of his career, he played linebacker before making the switch to safety. And at 5'11", about 198 pounds, Donnie Shell was known as an intelligent player. And, oh, yeah, he'd stick you. He will definitely knock you out.
Donnie Shell should be in a lot of Hall of Fames. So these guys have something in common. They didn't play their games on national TV. They were basically no names in college. Some of them never went on and became big names at all, unlike Donnie Shell. But they get a special thrill, now members of the College Football Hall of Fame.
I'd like to close by saying to the young people, never give up on your dreams and your aspiration in life. I came from a family of 9 brothers and sisters. No one thought I could to even go to college or be anything in life. But if you want to be somebody, if you work hard, if you strive and set goals and aspirations for yourselves, you can be whoever that you want to be. Just keep the hope alive. And people come by and they'll help you. And I'm so appreciative to the Hall of Fame committee for inducting me, and the hospitality we received since we've been here has been first class.
And for a guy like me to be up here on this stage with these kind of people is, well, frankly, that's what's right with college football. That is why college football is what it is today, and it's the greatest game in the world, is because people like me can, through hard work and perseverance, do things that you cannot normally do.
As I receive this honor, I'd like to, and you go through the hall someday and see it, where reach over and touch it.
and take a little piece of it, because I truly believe you deserve as much as I do. And thank you, Paul, for sharing tonight.
Still to come from South Bend, the Hall of Fame induction of the incomparable Coach Rob, Eddie Robinson, and the first ever Sun Devil player, the man who helped put ASU football on the map, Danny White.
My dad always said, as soon as I get a computer, you'll come out with something better. So to make sure people like Dad have the latest computer, we invented YourWare, technology that grows with you. For just $49.95 a month, you can buy a computer with an Intel Pentium 2 processor, unlimited internet access, and in 2 years, you can trade it in towards the purchase of a new one.
What do you call this thing?
YourWare. Call 1-800-GATEWAY, and let's talk about YourWare.
Today, we study the enemy, the humanoids after us.
Outsmart the bugs with Terminix. We'll be there when you need us.
And the most dangerous, Terminix eradicate us.
Call 1-800-Terminix. No bugs, no hassles.
My name is Walter Fischer. I design cars for Volkswagen.
I like to drive them.
Marketing people ask me to design a special driver's car. I thought, well, I'll design it like my car.
Spoiler, alloy wheels, CD player, all standard.
My wife thinks they should call it the Walter Fischer edition. They said they'd think about it.
On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
My husband and I made a bet. I said 10-10-3-2-1 was cheaper. He thought AT&T was. Well, the phone bill is here, and he lost. Turns out 10-10-3-2-1 saved 50% off every call over 20 minutes. Calling Grandma in Cleveland only cost $280 with 10-10-3-2-1. It was $560 with AT&T. So it's settled. Now we both dial 10-10-3-2-1, then 1 and the number. Right, honey?
This is the last time I bet against you.
I love a man in an apron.
Dial 10-10-3-2-1.
Over the years, Bristol University has assembled some of the greatest minds in football. While it's important that we look back at the past, it's also important that we look forward to the future. Cheers. Cheers. NFL Countdown. Sundays at 11, Mondays at 6:30 on ESPN.
Arizona State represented in the Hall by the tough guy coach Frank Kush, inducted back in 1995. But until 98, there had never been a former Sun Devil player in the Hall of Fame until, that is, Danny White was named to the class of 1998. White had to miss Hall of Fame weekend here in South Bend because of his success as a coach. The Arizona Rattlers of the Arena League taking on the Orlando Predators in a playoff game. But until a fateful strikeout that ended the College World Series, White was better known at ASU as a baseball player. Went on to become, of course, a star quarterback and one of the architects early on of a program that's now a regular in the top 10.
Back in the days, as they say, college football, Arizona State football was big here in the Valley. There really wasn't much else. Didn't have a professional football team, didn't even have a professional basketball team. So ASU football pretty much got the headlines. Nationally, though, we weren't very well known because we played most of our games on Saturday night and we didn't make the Sunday morning papers back east with all the other college scores. And so there was a lot of mystery surrounding the program at Arizona State in those days.
Danny White grew up in Arizona wanting to be a Sun Devil. His father, Wilford Whizzer White, was a running back for ASU in the late 1940s and a member of the school's Hall of Fame. Danny, he just wanted to make the team.
I would have given anything to just have been able to wear a Sun Devil football uniform. I went to every game with my dad, grew up watching him play, and the thought that I would actually be able to be on the bench and make the team was really something that I thought was beyond my reach.
White got a scholarship to ASU, but it was for baseball, not football.
Some very strange things happened over the course of a couple of years that turned me from baseball to football.
I remember we ran out of quarterbacks in spring training, and I promised him he could play baseball and football, and we were going to have a scrimmage just one Saturday morning, and I asked him to come out and help us out, and he did, and he broke his collarbone, and his dad almost had a fit, but Danny never said anything.
The final straw was getting up to bat with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth in the College World Series championship game against USC and striking out, that was kind of the final blow. And that was the end of my baseball career.
With football now the focus, White made the team as a punter and quarterback and became the Sun Devils' starting QB his sophomore year. He remembers his head coach's advice before taking the field for the first time as a starter.
He looked at me and he said, look, you've got one thing to do tonight. You get the ball from the center and give it to one of 10 players without dropping it, and we're going to be okay.
During his career at Arizona State, White led the team in total offense and passing all 3 seasons and is still tied for first in career touchdown passes, second in career passing yards, and 6th in career attempts. With all of his success on the gridiron, White never really missed baseball.
We'd led the nation in scoring and total offense and won a couple of Fiesta Bowls. So it was pretty clear to me. And once you've played major college football as a quarterback, it's hard to get that same kind of intensity and excitement from playing baseball.
White thought his best shot at a pro career was in football, and he was right. Drafted in the 3rd round by Dallas, White spent 13 seasons with the Cowboys under legendary coach Tom Landry.
The thing about Danny White, he was very smart. He was an excellent football player from the standpoint of intelligence. And I think he's probably the most intelligent player that I had, you know, with the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's hit them hard, let's play hard, but let's relax and let's concentrate and let's communicate out there. Let's talk.
Today, White is back in Arizona as head coach and general manager of the Arizona Rattlers of the Arena Football League.
I don't have to coach people that make more money than I do and go straight to the owner if they don't like what I tell them. I don't have to coach guys that will choke me if I don't do things their way, you know. I don't have to put up with that. And you know, peace of mind and lifestyle is important to me.
And how important is it to be the first Sun Devil in the College Football Hall of Fame?
To be the first from a college like ASU that's turned out so many great football players and great athletes is an unbelievable honor and really is very humbling.
Here's how Danny White's stats stack up against modern-day Sun Devil quarterbacking legend Jake Plummer. Comparable numbers. White did not get a chance, of course, to lead his team to the Rose Bowl. The Sun Devils were in the WAC at that point, but they did win 3 Fiesta Bowls. White represented here in South Bend by his dad, Wilfred, the other Whizzer White.
First thing Danny said to me when he heard that he was going to be inducted into the College Hall of Fame, he scratched his head and says, I don't understand it. He says, with guys like Curly Culp, Mark Malone, J.D. Hill, Charlie Taylor, John Jefferson, Michael Haynes, Benny and Art Malone, John Pitts. He says, why me? And I says, well, we're not to question those kind of things, Danny. So it's a privilege for me tonight to accept this in Danny's place, and I'm sure that he'll, for a long time, regret not being able to be here tonight. Thank you very much.
If White helped put Sun Devil football on the map, Eddie Robinson helped put Grambling on the map. He arrived in 1941. It wasn't even called Grambling yet. After an astounding career, Eddie Robinson now a member of the Hall of Fame. That story next.
A statement is made when standing, but when you move, it enhances not only you, but the surrounding area as well. It commands a certain confidence that others feel while in your presence. A phenomenon is sweeping the industry with an innovative flair. It's what you've been searching for, a divine paradox, international refinement and perspective, yet American styling. Everett Hall Boutique, an interpretation of fashion you've been looking for. Into the world of Everett Hall.
Most of my business depends on my advertising and involvement with Cable TV Montgomery. I get many people from different regions of Montgomery County who show interests in my products, and I'm very happy with it. Basically, it invites the people inside your store, and it targets on the particular customer that you're after. In fact, that's the reason why I'm still in business after 3 years. This is it. For me, this is it. Cable TV Montgomery.
Hello, I'm Netboy, live from ESPN Sports Zone via XPG 46 Digital CompuCam. There's still time to pick your fantasy team for the Fantasy Football League if you hurry. Hey, Myers, that's my camera jack. You can't plug your electric razor in that? Come on.
Part of the festivities here in Hall of Fame weekend, a spirited flag football contest, not perhaps quite as physical as most of the games these guys played and coached in. Also a chance for many of the folks here in South Bend to get autographs from their heroes. But undoubtedly the star of this weekend had to be Eddie Robinson, the coach, only 1 year removed for an amazing career at Grambling, a pioneer, a guy who touched thousands of lives, but really from the beginning was just fulfilling a dream that he had almost from the time that he was in diapers.
From the beginning, I just wanted somebody to coach. I can tell you, I wanted to coach ever since I was in the 3rd grade. I never wavered. I'm at my best, or I feel good when I'm telling the young football player that you can be anything you want to be. And my elementary teachers taught me that you can be anything you want to be if you're willing to pay the price.
Straight out of college, Eddie Robinson came to Grambling State University in the fall of 1941, just weeks after he married his other sweetheart, Doris.
He happened to Grambling. When he happened to Grambling and Grambling happened to him, and it was almost like a marriage. Grambling needed him. They met just at the right time. And when they met, they both grew.
One grew into a small college football power. The other grew into a coaching giant.
The first time that ball is snapped, you got to knock hell out of him and let him know one thing. That, boy, you gonna be in trouble this evening. You got a good man in front of you.
But for the first autumn since 1935, when he first played organized football in high school, Robinson will not be a part of a football team. At 79, this man, this loyal, humble man who has had but one job and one wife, this man who has lived in the same house for 50 years, is no longer the Grambling coach.
Does retirement suit you?
No, it doesn't. I tell you, it's pretty tough to stay home and you don't know where the pots, the pans, and you go in the kitchen and she says it's not over there, it's over here.
You know, he has no idea where things are.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. I do.
How do you...
And I just hope and pray that I can stay around long enough to hand him all the things he wants me to hand him. And, you know, and I don't get worn out first.
Sooner or later, I'm going to adjust to it, and everything will be all right.
In his time at Grambling, Robinson stood on the sidelines at 3 different home fields, the last of which is the one here at Robinson Stadium, built in 1983. This season, as he's no longer coaching, he'll have a much different vantage point in the press box with his wife, Doris, where he says he will not second-guess the new head coach, Doug Williams.
I just hope Doug wins them all now like that and could probably win the conference championship. I kind of figured he can do it. I'm doing it through him. Now, it has just changed over.
Williams is one of the Robinson favorites, one of the thousands who played for the man who decades ago used to see photographs of other coaches wearing formal attire at the Hall of Fame ceremonies. Now it's his turn.
I had seen a black tie, but I had never worn them. I worried about whether, before I died, whether I'd have a chance to put on one of them black ties and be with that group.
As he's done for as long as he can remember, Robinson puts on a tie every morning. And on some mornings, he goes to an office at the university. He works part-time as a senior advisor to the president for institutional advancement. But the truth is, he'll never escape his calling.
Well, I'm going to always be a football coach, so this is what it is. I'll find somebody to coach. I would coach the little boys in the backyard, you know, long before this time. Nothing lasts forever, you know, and this is it, and I'm just proud that I was able to actually coach 56 years.
Oh, Grambling, dear Grambling, we love thee, dear. Oh, Grambling.
Who knows, maybe someday Eddie will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his singing right there. Incredible career.
Well, you know, one thing about Eddie Robinson, he's won a lot of awards, but I think one of the things that most impressed me is the fact that Eddie Robinson is the first black football coach ever to be named president of the American Football Coaches Association. That's how much the respect of the coaches in America have for Eddie Robinson.
You know, and the other thing is he was a great role model all those years for the youth of America who went on to play for him. The other thing is, after coaching 55 years at Grambling, you would think he may have a couple players at that level maybe go on to the NFL. How about over 200? That's amazing. Over 200 into the NFL.
Wow. Robinson, an exception, just as the Hall will do for Tom Osborne in next year's class, waiving the rule. Let him in right away.
Deserves it.
Football was all I had as a youth. I started wanting to coach football in the 4th grade. I learned the American way from the game of football. I learned what they meant when they said, to whom a lot is given, a lot is expected. I learned how to win from the game of football without bragging, how to lose without offering excuses. I learned how to give something back to the youth of this nation. And here tonight, as I stand before you, I believe it when I tell you that I've been one of the luckiest men in the world for 46 years.
Joined by a gentleman who holds an honorary doctorate from Grambling, among other schools.
That's true.
George Steinbrenner.
Thank you.
George, Eddie Robinson, a guy who managed one team, coached one team since 1941. What a concept.
How can a guy... Yeah, that's a good one for all head coaches.
Exactly.
51 years as the head coach at one school. Have you ever heard anything of that, Lee?
Not me.
I've never heard of it.
I didn't last that long in Indiana.
Saban, I lasted 1 year with Saban at Northwestern, and it was goodbye.
You're involved with the National Football Foundation. You get to start something called the Eddie Robinson Foundation.
Well, I did. John Hanson came after me, and Eddie is more than just football coach. Not that there's anything lacking in being a football coach. I happen to think that the greatest years of my life, as far as learning and experience, were spent as a football coach. But Eddie Robinson transcends it. He is something that's, oh, you can't describe him. He's immortal in the football world.
Absolutely.
And the world of young people and what Grambling has represented to this nation, which I am very much in favor of. So when John asked me if I would be interested in endowing a scholarship for Eddie Robinson, I couldn't wait. We did it immediately because his name has to be perpetuated in the things that he has represented.
George, in 1956, you were an assistant football coach at Purdue under Jack Mullencoff.
That's right.
How did that experience affect your life the rest of
Well, the experience at Northwestern as end coach under Lou Saban in '55, where we got fired after 1 year, that had a great experience.
Sure.
But the next year I went to Purdue as an assistant under Mullencoff with a lot of guys that you know. They were all friends of yours, Lee. It was a great thing. It really helped me at age 24 to get that experience because I learned that people that condemn college athletics have no place in my world. I think I learned probably some of the most valuable lessons at the line of scrimmage or at the starting line of track meet as any young man can ever learn. And I'm a staunch supporter for college athletics. Sure, they may have a little dent here, a little dent there, but you know, that's very important. And the coaching part of it, it was a great experience because Mullencoff and Mackey were great people.
George, that's what I was going to ask you. You've been around athletics most of your life. Talk about the importance of collegiate athletics for the youth of America as it continues to grow and grow.
It is tremendous. I mean, I can't get over the NCAA basketball tournament is one of the biggest events today. You know, the bowl games always have been, and all the other events, and the girls now are involved, and I like that. I think it's great, and it's a very important part of the educational process. You know, now you and your dad played for Ohio State, and it's a famous name around there. So when you go back there, people know right away who you are.
Right.
But it's just a great thing, and the fellows that are in this Hall of Fame, I've just gone on the board of the Hall of Fame because I so strongly believe in the perpetuation of what these young men did as examples for the young men that are coming out today. Every young man should have an opportunity.
Besides your involvement in football, you've had a Pretty good summer. I think your baseball team's doing okay. We'll have to talk about some postseason World Series tickets.
They said, stay out in South Bend. Stay out there.
Not too bad.
I talked to Torrey yesterday. I said, now that you're an over 500 manager, you don't want me anymore. He doesn't want me.
Congratulations, prematurely, I guess.
Yeah,
but we can't wait to get back to the Bronx, I'm sure.
Well, you're right on that. But we haven't won anything yet. I just want our guys to stay focused. I don't like this stuff about records.
That's a former coach in you right there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Records mean nothing. Just getting to where you want to go. And we want to bring a World Series to New York.
George, thanks for stopping by.
I enjoyed it. Enjoyed being with all of you.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Lee.
When we come back, we'll wrap things up from the Hall of Fame and take a look ahead at the college football season of 1998.
I've got 13 gauge circular confetti, and your standard circles are square mix. But if you want to make this thing really big, for a couple more cents a pound, you can step up to the Fiesta sprinkles. Now this is exciting.
It's the Isuzu Great Big Really Exciting Sales Event.
Watch this.
Where right now, for a limited time, you can get a $1,000 rebate when you buy any 1998 Isuzu Amigo.
If I go lower than 18 cents a pound, I don't eat.
Most running backs train for speed. That's because they're looking for the path of least resistance. Me, I train mainly for power. Because I'm thinking, who needs a path?
Who loves Team Cheerios? The Stingrays were stung by them. Down south, the Barracudas are chomping them down. The Sharks are in a frenzy for them. Teams all over gave Team Cheerios a tryout, and they loved it. Because it's three awesome O's teamed up and sweetened up with frosting and brown sugar for an amazing sweet crunch your team will love. Don't forget the mighty sand crabs. Yeah, they dug right in. Team Cheerios, the taste your team will love.
NFL Tonight on ESPN2, Tuesday through Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Now, guys will have something to talk about.
It looks so serious there. It's the wake-up call a half hour earlier. A new start time, 11 a.m. Eastern time every week on College Game Day. The premiere from right here at South Bend. Notre Dame, Michigan that day. Tennessee, Syracuse, Ohio State, and West Virginia. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you'll join us Saturday, September the 5th. Mr. Corso, have you enjoyed your Hall of Fame weekend as you usually do?
I always do. You know, all the things they say about college football that are bad, forget about it. When you come here, you see the great things about college football. To me, it's the greatest game in the world, and that includes World Cup soccer.
Where do you come up with World Cup soccer? It's fun for me to come back every year and see a group of men, new group of men every year, being enshrined into the Hall of Fame and having that chance to relive their experience of college football just one more time. A lot of fun.
Well, no Ronaldo or no Desai, but there are plenty of new faces in college football, new quarterbacks among the teams ranked in the top 5, many of them anyway, new coaches at Nebraska, USC, North Carolina, and Texas, and, of course, a new way of deciding who's going to play for the national title.
That's what I'm excited about. 1 versus 2 in a bowl championship series in Phoenix, Arizona. We get to eat all those Tostitos nuts all over the place.
We're going to be done. By the end of that week, we may not look at Tostitos again. I'm excited about the bowl championship series as well. The big thing is the Big Ten and the Pac-10 and the Rose Bowl are all tied into the same pool with all the other conferences. I think it's a step in the right direction. We may find out who truly the #1 team is.
It's a step, but it's not perfect. That debate's going to continue all season long. Plenty of programming to whet your appetite before the season actually gets underway. Friday, August 21st, we'll preview the Heisman Trophy race. Extra wide open this year. The following Friday, 7:30 Eastern time, our 98 college football season preview. And then the very first college game of the season. It's the BCA Classic. Colorado State, high hopes for Sonny Lubick and the Rams. Ditto for Saban and the Spartans, CSU and Michigan State, Saturday, August 29th over on ESPN2. For Lee and Kirk, I'm Chris Fowler. Thanks for joining us. Hall of Fame weekend here at South Bend. We'll see you throughout the month and the season.
Did that right there. Whoa, here we go, Jimbo. Here we go, Jimbo. Woo. I saw a big old bull there in the water, and I looked over and I thought, what in the world did that? I floated over and found out real quickly what did that. Golly, look at that fish go. Woo, looky there, Jim. I'm in Venezuela on Gurry Lake fishing out of Pavone Lodge with my longtime friend, one of my very best friends from back on Lake 10 Killer, Jim Martins. Jim is 75 years old, and he's still ready to go fishing anytime I'm ready to go. Anywhere. Cuba, Canada, New Hampshire, Venezuela, he don't care. What do you think about this, Jimbo?
Muy bien.
Muy bien, you're right. You're right.
Mucho grande.
See, he really
Muy
is.
grande.
Well, they don't give up either, do they?
No.
They absolutely do not give up. Oh,
Beautiful.
Man. Come here, baby. Come here, baby.
He's a beauty.
He don't know what he wants to do, does he? He doesn't know where he's going. Come here, baby. Can you believe the way these things fight? Don't get in that rope. They don't know when to quit. That's the thing about it. They don't know when to quit. They do not know when to quit. Come here, baby. Come here, pal. One of us got to have some relief, pal. Woo!
He's not going to give up.
Look at that fish. Whoa, look at that fish. Is it?
You're close.
Moving
You can get him
rods.
now.
I got him right now if I can ever get down there and get a hold of him. Look at there. See, he's not hooked in the mouth.
No,
He just swung at
yeah,
that
you're
bait.
hooked in the gill.
He just swung at that bait. I got to be real careful. I've got super sharp hooks on here. And these things don't really know how to give up. I need to turn him over and get
And you
hold
grab
of him.
him by the tail.